They say that Charlie Kirk was offered an infusion of $150 million by Israel. Whether Israel was behind the killing or not, we have to get to the bottom of this alleged payment. And I would implore Candace Owens, release all the receipts. You have to release all the receipts immediately. Don't play games. Do not drag it out for the sake of your show. You know, I watched her show today and I was honestly disappointed.
Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. We're going to be watching today just some of the fallout of the Charlie Kirk murder. And part of that is now this clamoring, if you will, to secure the followers of Charlie Kirk that are looking for a leader. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about why I think that's bad in a moment. But there's a lot of people clamoring to position themselves to be the next Charlie Kirk or whatever like that. We're going to look at Nick Fuentes. He's got some really interesting takes on here. So let's just bring it in. I want to hear what your thoughts are. So definitely down in the comments. We'll keep that conversation going. So let's go.
They say that Charlie Kirk was offered an infusion of $150 million by Israel. Okay? That would double Israel's budget, or excuse me, Turning Point USA's budget. Turning Point USA has an annual budget of $140 million. Netanyahu offered Turning Point $150 million. For one purpose and one purpose only, to shill for Israel harder. Turning Point USA is already pro-Israel. They're not anti-Israel. They've never been anti-Israel. Charlie Kirk has, in the past, criticized Bibi Netanyahu. He has criticized secular left-wing Jewry in America. He has criticized a war with Iran, the famine in Gaza. He has never opposed Israel in itself. He has never explicitly opposed Israel. Israel offered him $150 million to be more pro-Israel than they already were, to be harder in their support for Israel, and in particular, to support regime change in Iran and to support their ethnic cleansing and genocide in Gaza.
So one of the things, and I've made this very, very clear, I don't really have a dog in the race as it relates to Israel. Every sentence cannot be punctuated with Israel, though. It just fascinates me. The America First crowd has a lot to say about what's going on in Israel, very little about what's happening in America First. It just seems to be, I don't understand it. And I would love to know where this information, where the facts of this are coming from, because Nick is saying it, but where's the evidence of this? Now, maybe Charlie did say it. Maybe Charlie said, "Hey, I've been offered $150 million." I don't remember this, and if you do know, let me know. I don't know where this is coming from, but I do think it's, again, in poor taste on the heels. We're barely made it a week after the man has passed away, and now we're hitting this type of stuff, and it's actually going to get worse. So let's go.
And Charlie Kirk refused the money. And I have independently confirmed that, by the way. I've heard that from 4 people. 4 people that I trust that are in the know. So this is coming from Candace Owens, a friend of Charlie Kirk. This is coming from Max Blumenthal, who purports to have a source. And I have heard from a handful of people independently of those sources that this offer was real and that Kirk turned down the money. After Charlie Kirk turned down the money, Netanyahu asked if he would come visit Jerusalem and give him the re-education tour. The Holocaust Museum, the burned babies, the beheaded babies, the one that Elon Musk took, the one that our Speaker of the House took. Anyone that's ever criticized Israel has been subjected to. He refused that as well. They offered to bribe him. They tried to re-educate him. He refused both offers. Whether Israel was behind the killing or not.
Internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder. And, I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to, make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing it's not only insane, I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying this. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this. But they go, they have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors. And by the way, they're willing to kill us all the time. I mean, that's what they're doing. And over the centuries, when Jews, especially in the Middle Ages, the horrific Middle Ages, the worst things were said about Jews you couldn't possibly believe. We were poisoning the wells. We were drinking the blood of Christian children. You name it. I mean, these things, that continued actually up to the Holocaust. The Nazis said the same thing. We're carrying vermin, we're spreading disease. And people believed it. And every time they believed it, this was a prelude to a greater and greater massacre, culminating with the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust.
We have to get to the bottom of this alleged payment. And I would implore Candace Owens, release all the receipts. You have to release all the receipts immediately. Don't play games. Do not play games. If you have receipts, you need to release them fast. And the reason you need to release them is because they have time to put together their alibi. They have time to put together their story. Do not drag it out for the sake of your show. I watched her show today and I was honestly disappointed. She promised receipts. We have seen no receipts from Max Blumenthal or Candace Owens. We've seen a lot of hearsay, unnamed sources, anonymous friends of Charlie Kirk. If Netanyahu offered $150 million and he turned it down, we need to see the documentation, if there is such a thing. If Charlie Kirk sent a letter to Netanyahu resisting his advance, we need to know the contents of that letter.
Okay, so a moment ago, you were saying emphatically that these things happened, and now you're saying we need to see the receipts. Do you not have those receipts yourself? Do you not have evidence from the 4 independent people that you spoke to? This just seems super problematic, and I feel like we're putting ourselves in a trick bag when we don't need to be there. But I'm gonna let them finish up. Let's go.
If there is information to the contrary, we need to see it immediately. You cannot withhold that information. I did not know Charlie. I never worked for Turning Point or Daily Wire or Fox News, so I do not have this privileged insider information from the Jewish Club. But if anybody has that information, it must be released. If you have receipts, you can't play games and say, we've got the documentation. You better release it or else. No. Doesn't work that way. You need to put the information out. Otherwise, it's irresponsible. And we need to get to the bottom of this. And by the way, we all need to demand that our Trump government, they have to get to the bottom of this. If it was Israel, if it was leftists, we need to know what threat we face. If Charlie Kirk is being gunned down for not taking money from a foreign state to support their war, that's a problem. If Charlie Kirk got gunned down by a terrorist cell of insane left-wing trannies, we need to know that too. Now, what about Bill Ackman? What about Bill Ackman and his fundraiser in August? Bill Ackman is a Wall Street Jewish billionaire. Do you know that he is friends with Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, managing $10 trillion in assets? Do you know that Larry Fink is going to run the World Economic Forum in the stead of Klaus Schwab, who's retiring after a Me Too scandal? Do you know that Bill Ackman got the president of Harvard University fired because there was an anti-Israel protest on the Harvard campus? Do you know that Bill Ackman's wife is Israeli? She was born in Israel, And not only that, but she received money from none other than Jeffrey Epstein. And after October 7th, Bill Ackman shifted to the right. He put $1 million behind Trump and became very active in Republican politics, even though he's a lifelong Democrat. Bill Ackman hosted the the convention on August 4th or 5th of Turning Point Influencers. Here's the smoking gun that really brings it all home. Because, and I'm going to be really honest with you, when people said that Israel was behind Charlie Kirk's assassination, I said, don't be ridiculous. Charlie Kirk, and rest in peace, God bless his soul, Charlie Kirk, we all know, was supported by pro-Israel Jewish patrons. Until the day that he died, he never recanted his support for Israel. Publicly and openly, he defended the administration's cover-up of the Epstein files. He defended the administration's bombing of Iran. In the same interview with Megyn Kelly, he said, "You're never going to lose me. I will always support Israel." Be that as it may, after Netanyahu offered to give him all this money, and he refused, Bill Ackman hosted an event at his home where Israeli mouthpieces like Seth Dillon, a Jew, and Josh Hammer, a Jew Israeli mouthpiece working for Ben Shapiro in a previous job listing. Charlie Kirk refused to listen. He was offered a trip to Israel. He refused. When the FBI could not locate the alleged gunman on Wednesday, do you know who stepped up and offered a $1 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Charlie Kirk's assassin? Bill Ackman. And just who do you think that $1 million will be paid out to? It looks like it will be paid out to the alleged killer's father. Tyler Robinson was allegedly turned into law enforcement by his father. His Mormon father, the Mormon father who turned in his gay son dating a tranny who killed Charlie Kirk, is going to get a $1 million payout from Bill Ackman, the man who, according to friends of Charlie Kirk, menaced him for not taking Netanyahu's money and supporting Israel's war in Iran. Do you think Bill Ackman is just generous? He's a vigilante? Put another way, the Jewish billionaire that allegedly threatened Charlie Kirk, the Jewish billionaire married to an Israeli who took money from Jeffrey Epstein, who is, by all credible observations, working on behalf of Israel in some context, the guy that apparently menaced Charlie Kirk is the same guy who will pay a man $1 million for turning in his gay son, implicating him in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Anybody find that a little bit suspicious? This is a tweet, a real tweet that Bill Ackman put out last week. He said, quote, "A number of people have reached out and or posted expressing concern that Tyler Robinson's father may collect a $1.2 million reward for turning in his son," which inspires a few thoughts. First, in order for rewards to be effective in finding criminals, the rewards need to be paid even if the recipient is a crook or worse. That said, in this case, if the father is found to have been involved or otherwise acted negligently in contributing to Charlie's death, civil litigation or criminal prosecution will reverse unjust compensation. I've also seen reports that suggest Tyler's family intends to waive its right to any reward. So yes, we will pay the reward if it is earned to whomever the FBI indicates provided the information that led to Tyler's arrest. To me, that might be the smoking gun. That might be the connection that slipped everybody's attention. So Bill Ackman allegedly menaced Charlie Kirk over Israel. Now Bill Ackman is paying $1 million to a Mormon man, turning in his gay son dating a tranny, implicating him in the killing of Charlie Kirk. I see a bit of a conflict of interest there. Now, with that being said, I'm not running with that. I'm not stating that as fact. I'm saying that requires careful scrutiny. It's not at the minimum, there is the appearance of impropriety. That's not a good look. And that needs to be investigated. And I credit that observation to Arthur Bloom, who's being investigated in Virginia for calling somebody an Israeli spy. Go figure. He put me onto this. I'm not going to pretend I came up with it myself. But at the minimum, that needs to be investigated. And I'd be very interested if the father receives that payout. If he doesn't, then maybe there's nothing there. But I find that to be very conspicuous. Where is the leadership? Where's the messaging? Where's the information? Where is the whole of government effort to get to the bottom of this, keep the American public apprised, to deter future attacks, and to ensure that this will not happen again? Where is it? And shame on all of the Trump shills for not calling this out. They will praise anything. The Cracker Barrel logo, the Department of War, the Gulf of America. And honestly, I was, and I'm not just trying to politicize this, but I was genuinely disturbed by Trump's reaction to Charlie Kirk's death. Isn't this your friend? They asked him about it the day after, and he said, yeah, anyway, so we're building the new East Wing. Are you serious? You got shot. This is your 31-year-old friend who supported you for years. You know him by name. Your son is friends with him. It doesn't seem like he could be bothered. He didn't go to the memorial. He's golfing. He's dancing at a sports outing. He said he got the news about Charlie Kirk. Oh, and I was in the middle of building the beautiful new ballroom. Really, man? What a disaster.
So I wanted to just let Nick just kind of tease it out. I'm not 100% certain I understand why Nick has such a hankering for some of these things. And I'm sure somebody's going to tell me in the comment section. So feel free, jump into the comments, let me know. But he seems to be putting together and cobbling together lots of different issues and gripes, if you will, from receipts from other journalists, this conspiracy about the reward, and of course, Trump's response to Charlie Kirk being killed. And I wanted to bring this up and just wanted you to see it because his name is coming up as he's going to be the next leader of the whatever. And I just want y'all to be mindful of who this man is. Do your own research. Look into him before you jump in and say, oh, man, I really can't wait to support somebody like him in lieu of Charlie Kirk or in replacement of Charlie Kirk, because I don't think that he's exactly who you would want to do that. But I know you're going to comment down below. So let me know what your thoughts are for sure. And let's do this again. I will be looking a little bit more into this, and maybe some of these conspiracies will start coming together, or maybe they'll start coming to light and we'll see some receipts, and we'll be talking about that as well. So I appreciate you rocking with us. Until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.